This is Andy Perrault for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by the Savage, Sam Eggington. Sam, my first interview of the year. It's good to catch up. Happy New Year as well. Did you have a good Christmas and everything?
Yeah, good, quiet with the kids. I was in all over Christmas, like John said, you're not going to get any crazy stories. It was presents and fireworks, that was it.
I was going to say, obviously, you just mentioned to me off camera you don't really do much for Christmas because you're in camp and everything. Even though you haven't actually got any news, but how do you find kind of having to juggle, having to train and the Christmas festivities?
Don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's not so much the training and the festivities, I could do that. It's what you got to miss out, like the food and everything about Christmas is eating, whether it's biscuits, crisps, Christmas dinner, so it's just the eating really, you just got to hold off a bit, but I'm not great at it, but I try my best.
Just make it harder when you see your kids munching away.
Yeah. Like they've always got something. It's never fully it. It's always put on the side, half it. I just clean up, innit? What can I say?
I'm sure John will make you pay for that when you have your session later on. But obviously, we said you obviously haven't got any news. Last time that I came to the interview, you said that the plan was fights around 6 or 7 times last year, and John told me you did do that. How did you find being so active?
Being active it's not a huge problem depending on the fights. Obviously, we had 12 rounders, it wouldn't be 6 fights a year, but when you're in and out of title fights and you've got nothing coming up.
I think you made a difference on the Italy fight.
Yeah, I mean the 4 and 6 rounders, they just keep you. Yeah, they keep you on like above water, so you don't have to just turn up and someone tell you you got to start camp for a 10 rounder. Them little fights in between, whether it's 4 or 6 rounder, it just keeps your weight down, your body agile, and it lets you ready to go. When you got a big camp sort of thing.
You've obviously you've boxed across some of the biggest venues in the UK. How did you find going back to that kind of the small hall mentality, trying to lift yourself to make sure that you didn't slip up in any of those fights?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it is hard. I know that sounds really big-headed, but it is hard. But like you say, when I started the boxing, it was to pay the bills. So whether I'm boxing in my back garden or at the O2, as long as we're getting paid, I'm there. But it is hard to get up for it and do the same training as you would do if you was fighting at the O2 or Birmingham Arena or the Manchester Arena. But it's just something you have to do, isn't it, I suppose.
Now, it must have been around September time that I came to see you, and obviously a month or so later you went out to Italy. When did that? Just talk about that opportunity to go over there, face Orlando Fiordigiglio. I hope that I've said again. Like you can't pronounce it. I don't really think I've said it there. But just talk about how that opportunity came back to fight in Italy at the back end of last year.
I think we was halfway through a training session, just ticking along, and like you said, we was looking to get on small hall shows anywhere over Christmas. Yeah, we had on a Steve Wood show or something, a 6 rounder or something. And we were just halfway through a session. John got the phone call, and he come back and he said, "What? We talked it over, and it just made more sense than anything. Like the fight was a great fight. It just made sense. Yeah, we'd obviously before we'd look through the rankings. John'd look through these guys because obviously when we're getting matched, he's looking through these guys, regular. So when his name come up, and it was for a title. I mean, the title was a bonus. I was ready to go over there with nothing on the line and fight him in his in his hometown just because it was an away day, and the fact that there was an IBF title that got me a ranking, I was all over that. And we went over and we done the job.
Sam just eyeing up John's food. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, where's mine?" What was the thinking when going out there? How did you find travelling out to Italy for a fight?
I don't know. I don't want to say that they tried to do us dirty, but we were fighting on the Thursday. They took us over on the Tuesday. Bear in mind, we're weighing in on the Wednesday. So it was all a bit rushed. I mean, the flights were quite early in the morning. So the flights were, some drove, some flew. My flights were early in the morning, so by the time we got there, it was midday. So we didn't really have time to do much. We only trained once on the Tuesday anyway. So obviously that's because my weight was all right, but anyone that was struggling in any way on the weight, I think they tried to, get you over there and just have you train all day because you travelled and you needed to lose weight for the Wednesday weigh-in.
And the connecting flight, so it took hours.
Yeah, we had 2 flights to get there. Yeah, it was all a bit rushed to get there and get back. I mean, they sent us home on Friday morning at something like 7 o'clock. So I didn't have a day to myself there. I didn't see the sights or anything. We walked around one quite nice town, but yeah, it was all a bit rushed. But it was my first time, so I had nothing to compare it to. So if ever I'm going to box in a different country again, that's what I'm going to expect. So that's what I'll do again. If it's better, it's better. If it's not, it's not. But yeah, it was good. It was good enough. I mean, when we got there, they treated us well. But yeah, it was just a mad experience. Like I say, I've never been to a different country to box, amateur or pro. So it was an opportunity that I was going to take with both hands.
Obviously, the experience itself, it will stand you in good stead down the line if the opportunity arises for you to fight abroad again. But on reflection, is it something you won't regret, because obviously you was victorious, but you regret the way that's obviously certain things played out with regards to the travelling and that? Is it, how much do you kind of look back at and think, on another occasion, all those little aspects to what went wrong with your flights and your travelling could have played out differently with your fight, mate?
I mean, I like to be at home anyway, so the fact that I went over to Italy last minute was better for me. If I was over there for a week or two before, that would have probably been worse for me, because I don't like to be away from the house and the kids and family in general. I like to do all my sessions at Eastside. It's how I am. I'm like that. So the fact that I went out on the Tuesday was a benefit for me, really, because it's not like we're going to America. You have to get to the altitude and so on. It was just Italy. It was an hour or two on the planes. I was over there last minute. All I had to do was get there, do a session, weigh in the next day, everything was back to normal. Just had to fight. So for me, it weren't a massive deal. But like I say, it's just how different promotions, sort stuff out, and I suppose what they've got to spend, but it weren't a big deal to us, honestly. John drove. John didn't even get a flight. I got the 2 flights with Sagi and Lou and Joe. And we had a whale of a time there and back, if I'm honest. So it weren't too bad. I'd go again with the same promotion. Yeah. World ranking the something about.
Just talk to me about the fight, then reflect on it and your victory.
Because I was told, and I suppose he was. I mean, I didn't get to see it. He was fast, quite a good boxer. But by the end of the first round, I sort of knew, it's not what he expected. I think he saw I'd lost, out of my last 4, I think I'd lost 2. And I think he just thought I was coming over for a payday. By the end of the first round, I could see in his face, it's not what he was expecting at all. I think he was expecting me to come over and just go with emotions and sort of just, as long as I lose on points, I can fight the week after, sort of thing. But yeah, as soon as I got in there, first time I met him, I just knew that he didn't really want to be in there. He didn't expect what was turning up. In the second round, it wasn't so much I was looking for a knockout, but I was definitely ready to put more pressure on, because the tactics were to do what we've done in the first and second, but to just wear him out up until the 5th or 6th and then start pushing on and really, put the pressure on. But by the end of the first, I saw him look over to his corner at the bow and take a deep breath, and his eyes were wide open, and I just thought, this kid doesn't really want to be here. And the second round, I turned up a bit more, and luckily enough, I got him out of there.
You mentioned him answer before the last one, obviously he gained a world ranking by picking up that IBF title. What is the thought process moving forwards? What are you guys considering?
I think it proves with my career, I don't have any thoughts. I can't plan, because we get phone calls left, right, and centre to fight here, to fight there, and I've took pretty much 99% of fight I've took, in a heartbeat. But like I say, there's no point in saying that we want to do this and we want to do that, because if someone rang me for a fight for a 10-12 rounder for some sort of title, I would take it. I'm not going to say I'm going to climb the IBF rankings or I'm going to climb these rankings or these rankings, because if they throw for a different bout, I'll take that. So I just I stay half ready, and if the right opportunity comes, we snap at it.
One thing which we've spoken about previously, other people have asked you about before, is obviously your relationship with Barry Hearn. How has that kind of changed on the back of the couple of defeats that you've had recently? Has there been less contact? Has it been more? Has it been just as supportive? How have you kind of seen that dynamic?
After the Italy fight, he had me a fight ready to go on the Joshua bill. But but just weren't right for us. We didn't think, so we didn't take it. And then, past that it was Christmas. So I ain't spoke to him all since that. John spoke to him the other day. I think he's away, and he's saying now he's going to sort out something for when he gets back and he'll ring us then. But yeah, I mean, he's a loyal. Yeah, I mean, after the Italian fight, I was on his phone to Barry in Italy, and he's, I couldn't really hear what he was saying, but he was going wild. But yeah, like I say, he's loyal. He had a fight ready for us, like I say, on the biggest show, ever. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? But it just weren't right. So yeah, he's still there. John, like I say, John was on the phone to him. I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah. He was in the gym and John was on the phone to him. So he just said, "Let me get back off." He's just going. Let me get back off holiday, and we'll sort something out.
So talk to me about outline the initial plans for 2020. How do you kind of see the year playing out for yourself? Is it to kind of stick to the plan that you guys set last year, look to box and small horse shows, just stay active and wait for an opportunity, or is it kind of on the back of Italy? I mean, I know you fought once more after that. Is it kind of look to get back onto a bigger stage again? I
think we'd be silly to sit around and wait for huge fights, because early on in my career I was fighting regular, and then if a big fight come, we'd take it, and I was looking good, and then we started to win titles, and we started to not sort of get ready for that fight in general. And not have the little fights in between, and I think I started to. Personally, I thought I started to drop a bit, not being ready, and then having breaks, then waiting for another fight, and just trying to get back into a 12-week camp as if nothing had happened. So I think if we can get small fights in between the big fights, like I got nothing now. If someone ran me for a 6-rounder, I will take it. Just mainly to stay ready, because if there's nothing there, it's hard to. I don't care who you are, it's hard to get up and get the work done, do you know what I mean, the training done. So it's nice to always have something to look forward to. And if a 6-rounder come up or a 4-rounder, I will take it. So yeah, I'm like the same as last year, just stay as busy as possible. If big fight comes in, it's right, we'll take it.
Obviously, at light middleweight, there are some good fighters there domestic. Scott Fitzgerald, the British champion, Anthony Fowler, Ted Cheeseman, Kieran Conway, etc., all with Matchroom. Are any of these guys names that you guys have kind of had conversations about and you're considering, or?
I mean, like I say, we never have conversations about anyone. I mean, John looks through the rankings and John watches them. If these fights come up for certain titles, then yeah, but I don't think I'd box anyone for nothing. I mean, it'd be pointless for me. I think. I mean, if there's something there that I've never had before, then I feel like I'm not a great. I like to chase. So if someone's got some more than me, then I'll do well in that fight.
That's where your best performance.
Yeah, if I'm kind of labouring and I'm just, it's something that I've done. Like, I don't know how to explain what I'm saying.
When you're the guy who's kind of expected to win or in front.
Yeah, they're my worst performances.
So when you're the underdog.
Yeah. If I'm chasing something, if it's something I've never had before, I always seem to do a lot better than if I'm defending. If I'm honest, like if I'm defending the title, it's always worse than if I win the title. But I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, I'm a better chaser than I am, trying to hold on to something. I like to get into fights where someone's above me. If I'm getting a higher ranking or I'm getting a better bout or something like that. They're my better performance. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I perform better if I'm chasing something that I've never had before, I think.
Before I do let you shoot off and you can go get some food down, just want to get your thoughts on a few fights. Obviously, I'm back in last year. You mentioned Ruiz-Joshua. Anthony Joshua, unanimous decision victory back out in Saudi. Well, I say back out, but out in Saudi, I should say. What was your thoughts on his victory?
It was a good victory. I mean, like I say, the kid come in, the fight before, and he done a job that no one thought he'd do. I did have the fight being a harder fight until, I don't want to sound nasty, but until Ruiz got on the scales, and I started to think, this is not going to be what everyone's expecting, this mad brawl or a much harder fight. Because when he got on the scales, I think it was 1.5 stone, 2 stone heavier. I thought, this is not going to be as hard as people are making out to be. So, and it played in Joshua's hands, because I think Joshua always had the tactic of boxing on the outside and just scoring big shots when he could get them. fact that he come in heavier and slower, Joshua must have been rubbing his hands together. But yeah, it's a good fight.
What did you make of Andy Ruiz Jr.'s excuses, as people have said?
Yeah.
You know, he's come out and said that he was partying a lot and he kind of allowed that side to take over from the boxing. He wasn't listening to his dad and his coach, Manny Robles. What was your thoughts on all of that?
I thought it was cold. I thought there was no need for it at all. I mean, Joshua lost. And not to big him up or you know, be his little cheerleader, but he had not an excuse in the world. And I think, you know, everyone's got an excuse for a loss. But when a man stands in the ring after being knocked out or stopped and says he was a better man, he just took all his belts off him. If he beats you back, like in the rematch, you can't have excuses after that. I mean, I've never said an excuse because it's my job to get in the ring. If I had an excuse before the fight, I shouldn't have got in the ring. Them excuses are void as soon as you get in there because you've chose to get in there. So the fact that Joshua gave him all his props beforehand, and then when he lost, he tried to take them all back off him, sort of thing. I thought he was, you know, I didn't listen to him, if I'm honest. I didn't sit around and watch.
Just to move forward as well, about a month and a half time or so, Wilder Fury 2. Your thoughts on that one, Sam?
I think Fury wins, obviously, but I think Fury wins in any way, shape or form, but he has got the equaliser, Wilder. So you can never say that Fury's just going to go there and win. If it ends on points or in any other way, you know, Fury's won, but you know, he can catch you, so it's never 100% with Deontay Wilder because he only needs that one. Like he said in his, you know, most of his interviews, he's got 36 minutes to hit you once. When someone's got that, it's dangerous. I mean, it's always worth watching as well because, like you say, he nearly put Fury out last time, but he got up. But yeah, like I say, I think Fury wins all the fight. You know, most rounds, every round, like most people do against Wilder. But like you say, he's got that equaliser, so it always puts a question mark over it.
Just two more fights I want to get your thoughts on. Whether it does or doesn't happen, a lot of rumours around Scott Fitzgerald and Anthony Fowler at your weight. If it is to happen, that British title for a lot on the line, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I think the last fight they both put it all in, and your man come out on top. I wouldn't say because it was a close fight, so I can't say. I think it'd be another close fight because they're both. I mean, I've sparred them both. I ain't done loads of rounds with them both, but I've sparred them both, and they're both, you know, good kids, strong, big. So I think it'll be another close fight. I don't know which way it'll go, but it'll definitely be a close fight.
Well, Sam, we will leave it there, and I'll let you shoot off now. Thank you for giving up your time once again, especially after your run just. Best of luck for the coming year. I'm sure I'll catch up with you soon, and thanks for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
Thanks a lot, pal. Cheers.